What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Because we're never dropping out.
If someone says 5x5 in the chat, I may use a sharp instrument to stick in your body.
Never let the truth.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away, burn away.
I'm gonna job ya. That was a word we used when I was growing up.
We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play. Hate is bad.
Sister to all called Atsuko a skank. That's kind of weird.
Wake at the back of the pack.
I didn't think it was that serious. I made a this story is just too long for TikTok, but I did make a TikTok video telling people they could find it here. I don't know. I gotta tell a story from like 4 different points of view, so to make it all kind of fit together.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake
Let me see if I can pause this. Okay, there you go. All right, let's roll the intro, I guess. I forgot how this works. It's been so long.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is that you can watch TikTok videos without a TikTok.
J_banana just resubscribed for 32 months.
32 months. Thank you. I've said that maybe 10,000 times. You can watch TikTok videos without a TikTok account. Plenty of people don't have an account. You just have to have an account if you want to comment shit.
Nike just resubscribed for 27 months. Hell yay.
Thank you for the resubscriptions. I appreciate it. Welcome. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. I guess we're going to tell a story tonight. But first, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for hanging out with me. An update, I guess. We're still kind of in bad shape. I don't know when we're going to have... So first of all, most of my town is good. There is another place that... or there are other places, like in Western North Carolina, where the entire town was like built on the river. One of those is like Chimney Rock, like downtown is on the river. Their whole town kind of got fucked. What happened in my area is like there are separate areas that are on the river, but the main part of town is not part of the river, right? So it was like the south end of town, or not even the south end of town, the south end of city limits. Downtown was fine. A lot of the stores, a lot of the places were fine. It's just general areas. I guess that's originally why we weren't classified as like whatever FEMA level for individual payouts, was because it was like sporadic. We eventually got upgraded to that. That happened. But originally we weren't. We were just for like community payouts and stuff like that, right? So the campground is really fucked. But I'm able to stay at my sister's house, which is across town in an area called Rock Creek. And they didn't get touched. They didn't have power for a couple days. There was some road access, driveway issues, stuff like that. Yeah, it worked pretty well. TikTok works fine. Like, I'm not signed in here. It says sign in at the top. This is on a, well, you can't see it right there. See, it says login. I'm not signed in. I don't have an account. And here's my TikTok. And you can play every video on it. Anyways, I've been doing updates on TikTok if you've seen it. But most of my town wasn't destroyed. The campground is basically fucked. Everything within 100 feet of the river is now gone. There's one building that's still standing that was gutted. There was an RV there that these ladies owned. They've been there since the previous owner owned it. So the current owner's brother, and they have a deal to where they just leave their RV there year round, even though they don't live year round, and they pay a lesser amount when they're not there. And then when they're there, they pay the full amount. Their RV was right beside the office. It was the closest one to the river besides mine. And, it got picked up, taken across the campground, and turned around. Our RV got picked up and moved, but we got it back in its original spot. The road, everything towards the front of the campground is basically destroyed. I was looking at something today. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I am going to tell the story. Just give me a second. I don't know when we're going to have power. We have Starlink when I'm up there. I'm going to be staying up there this week probably. So tomorrow, Mariah has her dental surgery, and we're getting all that set up and going through that tomorrow. We'll be gone all day for our dental surgery. And then by the time we get back, we get her set up at her mom's to where she's comfortable or whatever. I'll probably spend the night with her again, make sure everything's all right. Then after that, I'm coming back probably to stay at the camper again. It seems to be that way. So we'll see. But I got a generator. I got a small generator, and I'm waiting on a bigger generator. I tried to order a big generator, but they were just sold out everywhere. I got supplies up there. We have a generator that can run our water. We got Starlink, which I'm going to run another router off of, so I have a little bit better access in case there's an emergency with the kids or with Mariah, to where I can be reached, because I just barely get the Wi-Fi currently in my camper, which a camper, if you don't know, it's a big metal box. It doesn't like Wi-Fi, so I'm going to run a router down towards my camper, plug that in. Yeah, I think we can get set up decently. We'll just have to see. I think I have. Is that card in there? If we go here, there's a map here somewhere. Accept. Is it under? Okay, here it is. So here's the map. Okay. You can see basically the water. Let's do this. Download image. And then I'll just open up in Paint. Parking visible. That's fine. Save. I'll show you where the water went and what happened. I've got some drone footage as well. Have I showed you guys the drone footage? I'm sorry. I'm losing days. I'm losing everything. But the problem is I don't just need a generator. I'm trying to get a generator big enough to run my whole camper. I can get a generator right now, and the one I've got is kind of small. It was given to me, but it doesn't run the whole camper. I need one that's ready for a 50 amp camper, which is they're just hard to find. They're expensive, but they're also hard to find. But we're working on it. Yeah, I should be back up there this week, and then hopefully Mariah and the kids should be there later on. I'm opening up Paint right now to show you guys this. Mariah and the kids should be there by the end of the week. We still don't know anything about school. They just told us they would tell us. They're doing like a thing to help people with Christmas. They're supposed to be bringing us hot meals in there now. There's like a charity that wanted to help us with hot meals. Here you go. Here's the campground. So most of these are camping spots. All these blue squares are just camping spots, so they're empty. The brown triangles down here, they're just camping spots. They're empty. Now this right here labeled the bathhouse, this green box and this red box and this red box, they're all gone now. The water line came to about, let's get some blue on here. I'll add a layer. So basically, the water, when the river came up, went from down here at the bottom of the map. You guys see the water? It ended up coming, let's see. It ended up coming basically through here, got my camper, avoided those campers, and then went back into the creek. So everything down, basically, it looked a lot like this. That's what happened. And everything there's gone, except for my camper. I did cover up my camper in this. But my camper is just floated for a little bit. The electrical system got pretty wet. I'm not sure about it, but we're working on it. Okay, that was where the water line is. Currently, let me back this up again. Currently, our bank, just for the pond's gone. Currently, our river bank is like, you see where it is now. The bank of the river is now like here. So if we color that in, basically all that's gone. And the pond is just now, this triangle pond beside my head that was there is now just gone. It's filled up completely with sand. The bathhouse is gone. The office is gone. Everything, this red box here is gone. This is now where the river is. It probably took us about, I estimated it took about 45 or 50 feet of our land, and it's just gone, right? Yeah, it's pretty bad. So we left all that riverfront. So we don't know what we're going to do if we open up the campground now. And even the part that's left, some of these, so like for a camping spot, you need like power, water, sewer, for like these camping spots, like 26, 27, 28, 29 here, 46, 47, 46, 45. Those things are there because we provided them for for the campers, right? The problem is they're buried under about 6 feet of sand. Like, they're just fucking bare. Like, we would have to get equipment in there to dig out these spots. If we wanted to open these spots back up as camper and use the same thing we have, they're buried under like 6 foot of sand. It's incredible. This right here is the bridge in. Let's see. I'll use a different color to show you this. Let's go back to paintbrush. I'll use red. So this right here is the bridge in. Okay, it's just a small bridge. Now running underneath that bridge is a creek. I'm gonna outline it in blue. It's a creek. It's dry all year round, unless it's raining. Basically, that creek was fucking impassable. I'm talking like probably like 10 foot deep. It was over our bridge by 6 feet. And it's usually dry. It was just insane. And honestly, we didn't even get that much rain. It all came from North Carolina. It all came from, the other side of the mountain. They got feet and feet and feet of rain, and we got a couple inches, but it all comes down here on the Nolichucky. So I don't know if you guys told you that I had showed you drone footage, or not. But like I said, currently, or when the water was at its highest point, it killed this thing beside my head called the lily pad. That's gone. It was over 37. It was over 52. It was over 56. It was over 76. It was over 73 and 75. It was like that. So basically our water, at the highest point, this is what it looked like. Like all of this was covered in water. And we were standing back here on the hill. See where it says Rustic 2 and Rustic 1? That's where we were at. We're just standing on the hill watching my camper float away. Now, I can do the story. That's true. What I wanted to tell you is, like, I know, like, I'm bad about it. The news cycle moves fast, right? There's news stories to talk about. There was another hurricane already. Jessa made it safe through there and didn't have too much damage. There's just a lot of stuff that goes on, right? And the news cycle moves fast, but there's still, not all of us. Some people are back to regular life, but just don't forget about us, right? Like, I still don't have a job. I still don't have a home. Just don't forget about us, or the other people that suffered. I feel like the news cycle moves off so fast. Everybody wants to be mad at FEMA, and then they're like, oh, well, it must be taken care of because we did some other shit. But it might be months and months and months. I don't know if I'll ever have a job again. It might be 3, 6 a year before I get fucking power again. Our road is collapsing. I think I did a little update on that today. I'll try to show it to you. Our road is collapsing, and the only way to restore power is to bring in line trucks, right? Bucket trucks. And without a road, they can't do power, and we don't know when we'll ever get a road, right? If you've seen the, let's see. I didn't update when I was on the four-wheeler. Okay. Yeah, let me mute this. But, like, at the very end, I show the road. It's only, right here is only 4 foot wide. Like, you're not getting a fucking service truck up there to put a power pole in. And the pole's gone. And that's probably 90 feet down to the riverbed. So it might be, I don't know how long it's going to be. No one's even come and assessed the road besides me. And when I talked to the highway department, and there's also a federal park there. When I talked to the federal people in the highway department about it, they asked me how the road was. And I was like, you guys want to come look? No, what's it look like up there? I'm like, it's falling in the fucking river. Okay. Like they asked me how I was doing. So here it is. It's only about 4 foot wide on asphalt, and then there's probably another foot in the weeds. You can get a side by side through there, but you better go slow, and you better be wide or go really fast if you expect it to fall. The problem is, like, down to that bottom is like 90 feet. I had a rangefinder in there the other day when I got in my equipment bag, and it's like 89 feet, 83 feet, and all that's got to be built back up. There's nothing under some of this asphalt. And every time you drive across it in a side-by-side or a four-wheeler, you see, like, dirt fall out. So you know it's caving in more and more and more. I don't know. It's just bad shape, so... I don't have a job. We don't technically have a home. We don't have power. We don't have utilities. Septic might be an issue. We don't know yet. The problem is some of the septic tanks, the river took the cover off the top of them, opened them up, and they're probably full of sand now, which wouldn't be an issue. You know, pay $300, have the septic tank pumped. We can't get a truck there. There's no road. So this road's going to be a big issue for a while, I believe. So we'll see what we can do with it. But there you go. 90 feet. This is me taking some gas in today. I try to go in there about every day, in and out. Here's like some damage that someone else took a picture of. This is the road that we took to Mariah's mom's house. It's just gone. You can see what the river did to it. There's half a road there in some places. I know the Cajun Navy guys took a mule train down through here. But look at that. That's not even half a road. That one was just completely gone. I don't know. It's just wild. It's wild what the river can do. It looks like a different river. The guy that is next to us at the rafting place. So there's a rafting place beside our campground that also does some camping. They do more shows and stuff, but they do rafting as their main business. He got his license pulled. He's like the main guy over that. He's the owner, and he certifies raft guides underneath him. So every year, I did it when I was in high school. Every year they have a bunch of young kids show up, and you go with him and train with him for like a week or two, and he certifies you on a certain part of the river to be a raft guide. Well, they pulled his license to certify other people because the river's changed so much. Because it's a different fucking river now. So he doesn't even have his license. And they're going to have to go back through and reclassify all the river. Like this big area of rocks here was not here. There's just all these random deposits of where I guess the river slowed and it just dumped a shit ton of rocks places. The railroad's using it to build a damn bridge, but see, like there's half a road to no road. That one picture was bad, but I didn't get it stopped in time. That's insane. It's just everything's different. It's going to be a while. Everybody's going to be struggling for a while. So anyways, thank you guys for your support while this is going on. I know a bunch of people made donations and stuff or asked us what we needed. I don't really know what we need, right? I'm trying to get through this, but it's weird. Like I know there's some things that we need and we got those things pretty quick, but then there's all these unexpected expenses that you don't think about, or fuel for the generator for 3, 6, 9 months, or things that pop up that you're like, man, if I was at my own house, I wouldn't have to buy this. Or if I was able to do this, I wouldn't have to buy that. There's just a lot of things. So thank you for continuing to support the show. We appreciate it, but it's just, it's bad now and it's going to be bad for a while. A lot of the immediate donations and stuff, like the donation centers, they're trying to move them away from our schools. They're putting them at the churches. So maybe they can get our schools open back up, but that's still probably a couple weeks away. We haven't heard an announcement yet. Still probably a couple weeks away. So we're waiting to see that. I'd like my kids to go back to school to get some normalcy back. Here's the picture I was trying to pause on earlier. This is a rock face, right? And this road right here has so much, has fucking 100, 1,000 times maybe more traffic on it than my road. And they haven't even started fixing this road. They're going to fix roads by how important they are, right? How much traffic is on them, how many people use them. They haven't even fucking touched this road. So I know that it's not like tomorrow there's going to be some guys working on my road. They haven't even fucking touched this one. I think it's I think some of the projects are too big to wrap their head around, right? Where do you even start when the road's gone? It's not like we need to pave it or we need to fill in a pothole. It's like we need to have an engineer in. They're going to have to certify this road. We may have to dig shit up and start from scratch. This road right here has traffic on it all the fucking time. Our road may see 100 cars a day. That's probably on an average day. May see 100 cars. This road probably has 4, 5, 6,000 cars on it a day. It's always busy. There's always traffic. There's farms down there. It's a shortcut. There's tractor and trailers that take it. Like this road's a big deal, and they haven't even had a chance to start on it yet. So that's where we're at. All right. If you want to support the show, if you want to support me and Mariah, we're just using our regular donation links. There's a bunch of GoFundMe's out there if you want to donate to one of them. The only one I can recommend is a nonprofit called Rise Irwin, R-I-S-E Irwin. I don't personally receive anything from them, but they seem like they're doing good stuff for people in the community. They're a nonprofit. Some younger people started it up as like a way to like get like the younger people involved with our town because there's just a bunch of elderly people here that want to Bible thump or whatever. But Rise Irwin seems like they're doing a good job. Seems like they're trying to help people. They got to GoFundMe. You may see a GoFundMe that is purported to be connected to the campground I live in. It is not. It has nothing to do with the campground. It is someone that lived there that is calling it the Nola Chucky Gorge Community instead of campground. And she's taking donations and giving them out to people as she sees fit. I don't see the same thing she sees, but whatever. That's her thing. If you want to support me personally or Mariah or the kids, my PayPal, all my stuff is on coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, where you can see all the links. There's Buy Me a Coffee, join our Patreon, Gun a Bomber, Dono Clip for some reason is over here. I need to fix this website. And then just this yellow button is just PayPal. If you click this, it just donates through PayPal. I got Venmo and Cash App. If you need that, you can holler at me. I should have put it on here, but I didn't. Anyways, back to the rest of it. I'll probably be living back in my home with a generator is too small, but I got a bigger one coming by the end of the week. I don't know about the road situation. I'd like to have the kids come and join. I'd like to be together as a family again, but I don't know. It'll be really hard if we don't have a road and school starts back. It'll be really, really, really hard to get the kids up every day and take them out like on a side-by-side or have them walk 2 miles out to the car or that'll be stupid hard. I'm not excited about that. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll just have to see how that works. It's Cold Beer Confess, one word, not 2 words for my Cash App. But we'll just have to see how that works. We don't even know when school's going to start back, if it's going to be anytime soon, if it's not. So we're just playing that one by ear. But I would like to have my family back together again instead of spread out in 2 or 3 different places and all that. Anyways, the story everybody's been waiting to hear. So this is the story that I'm telling only from my point of view and what I saw, what I observed, what other people told me. I can't have other people's point of views. It would be impossible. So this is what happened according to me and Mariah and the family. And you can take that for whatever it's worth. I will tell you that this guy's paranoia and crazy claims have been confirmed by even his own family. So let's start at the beginning. Okay. The night of the flood, the day of the flood, the water was rising. It was rising pretty quick. I was a maintenance guy at the campground, so we had already prepped some stuff the day before. It got higher than we anticipated, obviously, so we were moving other things. I was moving fire pits and fireplaces and fire pits and picnic tables, and we went to the garage and put everything up on the shelves. That didn't help. It destroyed the entire garage, took all my tools with it. Didn't help, but we were trying. Pulling stuff out of the water that was floating down of other people's stuff until they got up or got in there or whatever. And then eventually the bridge out, the road flooded first, the road out flooded, and then the bridge out flooded. So the only option left, the Appalachian Trail. The water rose up. It got our camper. We had to move our cars. We put everything we could store into our cars. And even when I was driving the cars away, I had to drive through probably a foot of water to get it away. It was pretty bad at a couple of different points. Mariah was freaking out. She was crying. The kids were freaking out, afraid they were going to lose their house. So what I wanted to do, I didn't want to see my house float away. I don't want the kids to have to sit there and see it. So what I wanted to do was hike out on the Appalachian Trail. So what we did is I spoke with Lisa, who's the campground owner, manager, whatever. Her brother used to own it. Now she does. She's keeping it for her brother's son, right? Her nephew, who's 6. He gets it when he turns 18. She wants it open and maintained and stuff so he can decide what he wants to do with it then in 12 years. Anyways, I went and talked to Lisa. And Lisa told me, like, there's nothing we can do now, but just watch the water rise. I understand if you want to leave, but here's what I'm going to do. So what Lisa did was she opened all of the cabins up here on the hill. So, like, if I zoom up, there's, like, the Rustic 2 you see here. This is the Rustic 3, Rustic 1. These other 2 red boxes are also cabins. One's just called the Blue House, and then one was a long-term rental, but it is no longer. So she opened up all the cabins on the hill because we didn't know how high the water was going to rise. So we tried to hike out the first time, and we couldn't find a way across the river. So we're like, oh, fuck. So we had to come back. Well, Lisa, being as nice as she is, she didn't have to do this. She could have said, stand outside and watch it rain. She didn't have to do this. But she got the keys and opened all the cabins and said, hey, we're going to have to sleep tonight. So we'll put multiple people in each cabin, and everybody can stay there because the water's too high to get out of here unless you want to hike out the Appalachian Trail, which we thought it was blocked at the time. Pick a cabin. So me and Mariah were going to stay in this red box right here, and we were going to stay in it. It's called the Blue House with another single guy and then another man and wife. And that was going to be where we all stayed. We had room, whatever, kids. And that was the plan. So we moved some stuff over there. We took our dog over there, all that stuff. Other people went to other cabins or just stood on the hill or whatever, moved into cabins. That was fine. Now, there is a guy. Do you guys see this number 57? See this number 57 right here? I will draw a yellow box around it. But there was a guy in 57 right here. Now, you can see very clearly, Lisa also took in a woman, cat, and dog in her own house for the night. Yeah. Which is stuff that she didn't have to do. Now, you can see very clearly from this number 57, it was never, ever, at any point in time, touched by the floodwater. Ever. Ever. My camper was the only, there was a occupied house lost. There was an unoccupied camper lost. My camper was the only camper that was touched in any way, shape, or form that was occupied. Okay? That's it. Just me. Everybody else is further from the river than me if they're living in their camper. Okay? 57 was never touched by the water. But the guy who lives in 57, now this will come up again, it'll be important, so pay attention. The guy who lives in 57, since the day he moved in, has been complaining about a leak he has on his marker lights, like the orange lights you see on like the top of on the front top of a tractor and trailer or a camper or something large. It basically shows you how big your camper is at night. The marker lights had a leak for like 6 months. He kept saying he was going to get it fixed. He never got it fixed. There was no flood water that ever touched this camper. Now, he has had a leak that he just didn't get fixed forever. But that has nothing to do with the flood, okay? We didn't even get that much rain. If you wanted to even say, like, well, he had a leak during the heavy rain, we didn't even get that much rain directly. Most of the rain came to us from North Carolina on the other side of the mountain. We got a couple inches. It was nothing. It wasn't even a bad storm. Okay. So different families decide to go to different houses. Everybody found a place to sleep. It looked like we may have hit the high water mark. We weren't sure, but nobody wanted to sleep that close to the river, and then it come up another 10 feet, and then they had to be rescued or some shit. Well, about this same time when everybody was moving to different places, and me and Mariah were packing up shit and getting shit out of our camper that was trying to float away, I still wanted to leave. So what ended up happening is we found another route out. We found a footbridge over here near 79 that was still standing, although it was a little bit crooked. I went across it, made sure it was safe, took my whole family out, and we hiked out the Appalachian Trail all the way to where it comes out, basically at the bridge that collapsed earlier in the day. And we hiked out there, and my sister come and pick me up. Okay, and I went to my sister's house. I left for the day. I stayed in touch with people, but me and my kids and family, we left. So, multiple people, including this guy in 57, he went to this cabin named Rustic 1. Okay, so he went up the hill from his house, which was untouched by floodwaters, but maybe he was scared the water was still rising. He went up the hill from his camper. He went up the hill to Rustic 1, okay? That's where he's at. And Lisa told him that was fine, right? She opened the cabins for everybody, okay? Now, over the next couple of days, the water receded. Okay? The water receded. Now, everybody in a group chat was making fun of the posts that this guy was putting out, because he was talking about how he had this survival handbook and he was off grid and camping. I even made a joke about we're going to come in one day, he's going to be feral with nothing but a loincloth on, to like a group chat with all the campground in it but him. We were making jokes about it. But over the next few days, as the water receded, everybody went back to their campers, or they left. Okay? Now, they went to live with friends and family. They got housing assistance. They went to hotels. They did whatever. Now, again, his camper undamaged by the storm. Now, as these couple days passed, I was coming in every day. I was bringing in supplies. I had teams showing up. I fixed the road. I had help, but I was the person who got the people to fix the road. I was the person who didn't cut down a telephone pole to clear the road. I was working my way in, working my way out. I was bringing fuel, got the generator running, got the water going, doing all this work. And I was watching as this went on. Now, the first day or two, he stayed in Rustic 1. Okay? He approached Lisa, the owner, and said he would rather stay in Rustic 2 because it had at the time there were like looters being reported places and shit like that, right? It had a better view of the campground. And Lisa said, that's fine if you want to temporarily stay in Rustic 2. So he moved over to Rustic 2. Now, Lisa told me about this. And she said, well, maybe he's got like some type of trauma, or maybe he's just waiting a couple of days, or he doesn't want to be in his camper right now. Maybe he's afraid, there was another storm at the time that was supposed to be coming, another hurricane is supposed to be coming. Maybe, right? She let him stay there. And he moved over here. Now, there was a couple incidents that happened over this time. One of them was Lisa. Her husband has dementia, okay? She had to take her husband because this new campground layout is not conducive for her husband with dementia, right? So she ended up having to take him over to the VA, and they're trying to take care of him, get him on a routine, whatever, right? So the waters receded. I'm going to take the waters back down. She had to take him over to the VA and checked him in, and he's staying in the VA. That night, she couldn't make it back early enough to get back during daylight from taking her husband and checking him in. So that night, some of the people at the campground, including this guy in Rustic 2, some of the people got drunk. and they were making fun of this guy of how he's so scared, like he's guarding the campground. He's so scared of people breaking in here and survival, this, that, and the other, that they were making fun of him, and they were drunk. So they said it would be funny to get out their pistol and fire off a shot into like the woods and scare him. So they did. Now you can understand this sounds stupid because it is stupid. So they fired off a shot and scared him. And he come outside, and they fired off another shot. Well, he had been drinking too. So he came out on the porch and fired off a few gunshots. And that all got reported back to Lisa, and Lisa's like, absolutely none of that. Are you guys dumb? Right? There could be first responders. There could be people traveling in. There could be people that freak out and fire back. Like, we're not going to be fucking getting drunk and shooting guns. All right? But that's well within her rights, right? It was she even said, like, it's pretty sad I can't leave for one night and you guys don't act like children. And most people apologized and went on about their day or whatever, okay? Most people apologized, went on about their day. It's well within her rights to say that. Like, you can't, it was the one night she wasn't on property and you guys go wild and start shooting off guns. The fuck out of here. So, that happened. Now, during this whole time, the guy in question is making a bunch of posts about how he's surviving, blah, 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 whatever. And he talked to Lisa about staying in this rustic cabin too. And of course she said yes, temporarily. And everything's fine, right? He has no complaints. He's talking about how much he loves the community, how thankful he is to be there, how he wouldn't be anywhere else. He's never had a problem with anybody, how everything's going so good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has no complaints whatsoever. I'll read you some of his posts at the time. What a fucking, he's posting more lies right now. So these are some of the posts that he posted at the time. It says things like, our entertainment tonight is weather radio, which is picking up WQUT tonight. Usually Delilah, Love Channel it is. Mr. Scooter, which is the name of his dog. As snug as a bug in a rug. He posted again. About 3 to 4 hours today. Got clothes about 1/3 dry. I washed the clothes in detergent and vinegar and rinsed them with what? So he built like a couple buckets to wash his clothes in with a mop. He shared some pictures, chicken noodle soup and cheese ink green tea. He had a big post. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for your love and support, especially my brother Randy, Mandy, Danny, Robert, and my good friend from camp who brought me items this week as well as those I mentioned. I appreciate all you more than you can imagine. I apologize for all the unliked comments, untitled posts, etc., but I have very little service, and that's about the only way I can send anything. I've had to ask, I've had many ask me why I didn't leave. The answer is this is my home, and if I were in the plastic world of productivity and circumstances, I'd be driving daily to get into some place identical to here. May God bless you all, and thank you, Lord, for taking me to the Nolichucky Gorge Wilderness. Okay, so he's happy about it. Everything's going on, right? He's posting about it. But he could have left. Like, plenty of people have left during this time. He could have left during this time. He could have drove out. We got cars, like SUVs out at this time. Like, I helped build the road. That's how everything happened. He's posting pictures. He's making posts. There's also a lot of him like sympathy posting, I guess. Yeah. He posts about applying with FEMA. How do you all? So everyone evacuated the campground today except a small group of people, mostly vets. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about there. They gathered all the belongings thanks to a moving company who volunteered to come in with pull carts and wagons, ATVs. People young and old, even small children came. Very heartwarming. It's a mile in and a mile out through a hurricane path, half of the walk. But the hardest was my dear friend Louie, who's packing today, went down, blah, 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 whatever, right? No issues. He's got no issues whatsoever. Taking some pictures, taking some videos, he walked all the way out of here. Like, there's pictures that he took that he had to walk all the way out to take. No issues whatsoever. Then things change, okay? And the reason things change is because Lisa spoke to him. Hey, what's up, Jennifer? Lisa spoke to him and said, hey, I understand you're staying in Rustic 2 right now, right? But before winter, because we don't know what the power situation is going to be, we don't know what's going to go on, we might have a bad winter. Before winter, you need to move back to your camper. Again, the camper that was undamaged by the flood, right? It's had a leak for 6 months, but it has nothing to do with the hurricane, right? You need to move back to your camper or somewhere else because these rustic cabins are unheated. That's why they're rustic, right? They don't have bathrooms and they're unheated. And because there's no safe way to heat it, like if you have to have like an open flame, or if you have to have like one of those propane heaters or something, we've had fires already in some of our cabins. She doesn't want another fire there. Running a generator, an electric heater, or having a shore, or running a propane heat, which is well within her rights. Again, well within her rights. She owns those cabins. And all she's saying is, hey, before winter, I would like you to move back to your place or whatever you're going to do, but take your time. Take your time. Whatever you want to do, take your time. But before winter, need you to move, that's which is well within her rights, especially if she's worried about a fire. She doesn't want the few remaining structures she has to catch on fire. He got very upset. They are sometimes they're not as bad. Last year was a really bad winter. We had like 2 weeks straight where it didn't get anywhere near above freezing. Like, it was down in like the negatives and teens. Didn't even get up to like freezing. But usually we'll have like a cold snap of 3 or 4 days, and it'll be like 40s and 50s for a couple of days or whatever. Okay. So he got upset, and he said, You told me the other day that I could stay up here all winter. Which she didn't, and she wouldn't, right? She wouldn't make that promise because she didn't even know if any of us were going to be able to stay anywhere. Are we going to have a road? Are we going to have power? Why would she tell you could stay all winter for free in a cabin that doesn't have heat? Like, you just made that up, or you misunderstood, one of the two. So he got upset, and she's like, no. I said I opened the cabins for everybody, and I said you could stay there temporarily, right, until everything calmed down or whatever, and now you're free to either move back to your camper, stay on property, or, as a lot of people have done, you can leave, get assistance, go stay with family, get a hotel room, use FEMA aid, whatever you need to do. But, again, I don't want you staying in the cabin during winter because we don't have a safe way to heat it. It would be different if we had, probably be different. I don't know. I think it would be different if we had a reliable power source and sometimes a safe heater that he could use. But typically our rustics do not rent out very often during winter. They just don't because they don't have heat in them. We don't have a whole lot of people there in winter, so we usually winterize them, close them up, lock them up, and don't have to worry about something heating in there and potentially causing a fire. They don't have any water supply in there, so that can't freeze. Now, he got very upset about this, and he made a couple of posts. One of them is a picture of his hand, and here's the post. It says, my hand tonight after moving all my stuff out of my camper for 2 days up the steps to the cabin above the campground floor. The owner gave us a letter saying the campground was condemned and could harbor flood-related pathogens, basically due to many bodies and flooding from the Nolichucky, I'm sure. And since my camper was leaking and the flood waters rose around it. Now, this is a lie. The flood waters never reached his camper. His camper was leaking, but he should have fixed that 6 months ago, right? And since my camper was leaking and the flood waters rose around it, I was happy to abandon that sanctuary from society for sure. EMS workers I talked to about the flood said the camper is condemned. Do not go back into it for a habitat. How would EMS workers who've never been out, how would they know that? What are you talking about? Then a 4-hour day of laundry to add to the load at the Nolichucky Gourd Wilderness Laundromat just didn't help. Disabilities are challenging to be met, something you fight and preserve against. I guess you could say, I have a beautiful night, and thank you, Lord, for all the love and prayers. Okay? Now, the reason I bring up this post is because, again, Lisa said he could temporarily stay in that cabin, and he just take what he needs up there and leave the rest of it in his camper like everybody else did. Everybody else packed like an overnight bag and went to a cabin to stay the night just so we didn't get flooded out. And the next day, we got the fuck out of there. He took everything he owns and moved it to that cabin without asking anybody because he says that he got permission to stay there all winter for free. In conversation. Now, he got upset and said, you told me, I can't believe you're taking that back. I can't live in my camper. It's got molds. Now, again, this was like 4 days after the flood. There wasn't even time for mold to form, except that he's had a leak for 6 months, which he didn't fix. Okay? So Lisa said, I'm sorry, but we can't have the different heating stuff, right, going on right now. We don't want a fire, right? And told him to either move back to his camper or to move back or to move out, one of the two, right? But you can't stay in my cabin for free and run some type of heater. Get it? So the next day, Lisa and, of course, there's another person there that's staying in the campground back here like near 78. And Kenneth, the guy, the generator guy, we're all together. And Lisa felt like the conversation didn't go well. So what she wanted to do was reach out again and explain it because it seemed like he overreacted for what she was saying. So maybe she misunderstood it, right? Maybe he misunderstood it. Maybe she misspoke. But they had a conversation about a couple different things about the road is washing out. Try to not make so many trips on motorized things unless it's emergency or you have to make a trip. Make at least that portion of the trip on foot. Try to save our road. Different things about supplies over at the other campground where we were keeping supplies. And at the end of it, she told him with a witness, she was like, I just want to tell you, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with, who you are or whatever. I'm not trying to make you upset. The issue again, and she redirected it, the issue again is the heating, right? We don't want a fire. We don't want to put you in there with a little buddy heater and you die of carbon monoxide poisoning, right? We don't have a safe way to heat that's safe for you and safe for the cabin. Well, this time he went off, okay? He went off. He yelled at her that he was going to sue her, that she was singling him out for his disabilities, that she couldn't force him back into his camper because it's full of flood-borne pathogens, that there was that medical professionals had told him he's not allowed to go in his camper and it had been flooded, that she needed to learn her place and how to talk to people. And Lisa's always like the most professional person that approaches anybody, right? She needed to learn how to talk to people. He basically cussed her out. But as soon as he said something about lawsuit, she said, that's fine, but I can't discuss it with you anymore. Like, if you want to sue, that's all your prerogative, right? But I just have to reach out to a lawyer, right? She's not going to get in an argument screaming about suing stuff, right? He basically lost it, went off. Now, this dude, by all accounts, I don't know him that well, but by all accounts, he's a pretty bad alcoholic. Here's some of the stories that he's told us before, even when he's sober. He claims he doesn't drink, but from what I heard from his past, he was an alcoholic, had to quit drinking because these paranoid episodes he went through are much worse. So he was dating a nurse recently, and he came into the office and told me and another office worker that his former wife, his ex-wife, was a nurse, and that she was trying to poison him. She was trying to poison him. That he knew it, that his food tasted different, and she tried poisoning him for years, trying to kill him. Okay? And then the office worker told him, well, maybe you should stop dating nurses. But I guess he thinks nurses just get poisoned all the time. He also claims, right? He also claims that someone at his former job where he worked at a grocery store tried to poison him. And this summer, he was living here, and someone that worked with him and also retired from the grocery store where they worked, ran into him, talked to him. They had a good time. They reminisced. They went on a walk, blah, blah, blah. And after that guy, that his coworker left, 3 days later, he claims...
Rifle 61 just resubscribed for 13 months. What is up, Will and fam?
Thank you for the resubscription. 3 days after that, his former coworker left. He comes down with cold-like symptoms and claims that guy poisoned him. And everybody thought he was joking, so when they kind of laughed, like, haha, he's like, no, you can get all kinds of poison. I bet you he put it on the inside of my door handle, and that way when I opened my door, it absorbed through my skin, and he poisoned me. So, real quick, try to think of a single person in your life that has ever been intentionally poisoned. And then trying to imagine someone that's been poisoned 3 different times. Which starts to make sense about all his weird paranoia and FEMA and this, that, and the other, whatever. But here's the post he makes after he speaks with Lisa. I'm apparently squatting in this cabin, is what the property manager says. 4 days ago, she told me I could live here for the winter. Yesterday, she said you don't have permission to use any heat, right? Which is basically what she said. Like, what are you gonna use for heat? You don't have. What are you gonna use for heat? You're either gonna die of carbon monoxide or you're gonna start a fire. One of the two. Yesterday, she said, you don't have permission to use any heat, and I couldn't stay there for winter. After she said I could, and I moved my stuff for 2 days, I'd have to go back to my camper. So today, she held a meeting with me and Tony, one of the other people here, other than her, and told me again I'd have to leave in a short time, right? She was still giving him time, right? She was still giving him time to move or do whatever. Like, I'm not saying you have to do it today, but before winter, right? I need you to move. Okay. It is worse than just drinking, but it's his own family says it's much worse when he's drinking. Anyways, back to his post. She gave everyone a letter saying the campground is condemned, but she wants to move into a potential moldy camper in an area she deemed unlivable. Now listen to this disrespectful motherfucker. Frankly, I took her ass to school like her daddy should have a long time ago. And many who walk on eggshells because of her would have loved to see it. So he's bragging about him cussing out another older woman who manages the campground. She had a generator. Now we're going to get to the generator, okay? So before we finish reading this post, let me tell you about the generator. I've probably made close to 200 trips now. Okay? I've probably had made 200 trips close to in there now and taken in supplies. Someone gave me a generator. Now, it was too small to actually run my camper permanently, but it did help me get like fans on and get stuff running and some lights and be able to like pick up and try drying the thing out because mine actually got flood damage. It wasn't below the waterline or above the waterline like his. And I brought it in on the pickup truck. Now, obviously, I couldn't take this generator in on my one wheel. So what happened was I borrowed a four-wheeler, and I went out to get my generator. Okay? On the way out, someone stops me and says, hey, there's someone out there that needs to get a generator in. I'm just letting you know. And I was like, what? I thought they were talking about my generator. I was like, I'm going to get my generator. They're like, no, there's somebody out there in a white van that has a generator. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll talk to him. So I went out, and I was able to put my generator on the seat where I was going to be sitting because I was going to stand and ride in. And then buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. Buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. I was able to put my generator on the seat and strap it down. And there was a Hispanic guy there in a white van with a buddy of his, and they had a big generator there. Not big enough to run my camper, but a little bit bigger than mine. I think mine was like 6,500. This was like 7,500. It was a Generac generator. It had a name on it that I didn't know, but they told me this generator needs to go in. And I said, well, where does it go? And they're like to the back, the campground. I was like, oh, okay. Does it go to a certain person or what? And they said, oh, it goes to Kenneth. And I said, oh, he's my neighbor, right? I know him. I'll get it to him. And they said, okay, if you don't care to help it with him because it's heavy, he's not going to be able to pick it up. And I said, okay, fine. So here's what I did because I'm a nice motherfucker. I strapped this generator also on the four-wheeler on the front rack. And I was able to get both. They brought 10 gallons of gas and a thing of oil. I was able to get all that on one trip on the four-wheeler. Now, when I came in, I went to Lisa's house because that's where I was going anyways to bring in my generator. I unboxed my generator. Mine was already put together. It's brand new in the box. I just took it out, set it down, added the oil to it, whatever. Then I started unboxing the other generator. And Lisa said, what are you doing? I said, oh, this one isn't my generator, but someone said this to Kenneth. I'm going to put it together for him because, he's old and I know he can't lift it. It was heavy as fuck, to be honest with you. It was a lot heavier than mine. I was like, I'm going to put this together with him and then he can get it whenever. And she's like, oh, well, we had already talked about, and she told me that she told him about having to move out of the rustic and back to his camper. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, then he'll probably want the generator down at his camper. So I put it all together. I put the handles on it. I added the oil. I put the wheels on it. I checked the oil. There's a couple more steps, some things you had to remove, some things you had to do, whatever. Put the wheel kit on it, the big handles, and I rolled it into the barn. Now, the barn is an open barn. It's like a drive-through barn. There's no doors, right? There are no doors. I wouldn't have put it behind a door. I wouldn't have put it behind lock and key. There are no doors on the barn. And this barn, from the cabin he was staying in, I'll show you the area. He was staying right here in Rustic 2, okay? Everybody see my pointer? He was staying right here in Rustic 2. The barn is right here. He could see the generator from the cabin he was staying in. Okay, I pushed it into the barn with the fuel on top of it, separate from our fuel supply, separate from our generators, and I went and told him, hey, a generator came in for you. It's sitting right there in the barn and pointed to it. You can move it whenever you get settled, you can move it wherever. I'll help you. If you need me, I'll help you move it. It's pretty heavy. He said, okay, and thanks. Okay. Thanks for all you do from Becky Menzo. Thank you very much. I appreciate the donation. If you want to support the stream, you do that. Buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. He said, okay, and thanks. And I pointed to it. It was sitting there. It had his gas jugs on top of it. I was keeping it separate from our gas supply, keeping it separate from my generator, keeping it separate from everything. Okay, and he could see it. It was right there. Everybody could see it. Wasn't behind lock and key. It wasn't chained up. It wasn't hidden. I went and immediately told him about it. But I didn't know whether he was going to his camper, whether he's leaving. All I knew was he was not allowed to stay in the rustic. Now, when Lisa told him he had to move out of the rustic and then tried to readdress it, he claims that not only is she doing this against for against his disabilities because he's picking on him because he's disabled. She's also doing it because she wanted to keep his generator. That's a claim he made, that she's trying to steal his generator, which implicated me in a plot to steal the generator, right? Because I put it together, I brought it in. But what I told him and his family member is if I wanted to steal the fucking generator, I wouldn't have brought it in and told you about it, right? I would have just been like, what people? I never saw anybody with a generator. I have no idea what you're talking about. So he implicated me and Lisa in a plot to steal his generator that we weren't using, that had no fuel in it, that was setting out in the open, and I put it together for him and showed it where it was and told him I would take it to his camper for him. That's his claim. Now, we'll go back to reading his posts. Now, listen. It says, she wanted me to move in a potentially moldy camper in an area she deemed unlivable. Frankly, I took her ass to school like her daddy should have a long time ago. And many who walk on eggshells because of her would have loved to see it. She had a generator. My friend got me a generator and had brought it to me, and it sat for 2 days in her barn instead of bringing it to me. FEMA is going to love this. I told her my hands are crippled for months before I can do anything to get out of here, but I'd eventually leave. I ain't no hurry. She told us the road is off limits, in and out, but she's got a new UTV coming to go to Johnson City in. Now, Lisa did order a side-by-side. This is true. The reason she ordered a side-by-side is because, depending on how long it takes our road to get fixed, her husband is in a VA facility.
Clayton Knight just resubscribed for 16 months.
Thank you for the resubscription. Her husband's in a VA facility 30 minutes away, and her cars are trapped just like my cars are trapped. So she figured, instead of trying to buy a car and having to walk in and out, and she may have to bring her husband home. He hasn't been...
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted Becky _Manzo a subscription. Michaela Robertson 81 gifted a tier 1 sub to Becky _Manzo. They have given 43 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you for the gift sub. He hasn't been approved for a long-term stay, right? So she may have to go get him. And one thing that she needs is some way to get in and out of the campground, and a side-by-side are street legal in Tennessee, possibly over to the VA hospital if something happens or she has to pick him up or she needs to go see him. A side-by-side would not only help at the campground, would not only get in and out because we don't have a road, even if we have to make a trail for it, and it could drive all the way if she wouldn't put it on the interstate, but take the old road all the way to see her husband at the VA facility who has dementia. Now, she's also said, no, I'm not letting the Cajun Navy get my cars out. She also said multiple times that the road is only to be used for emergency, and she holds by that same thing. She only wants to use the road for emergency. When the side-by-side comes in, she's already told everybody anybody can use it, but we're not making trips in and out. We're not making joy rides. It's to transport stuff that's too heavy to carry in on foot, and that's about it. Or if I have to go, get my husband from the hospital, we have a medical emergency. Like he tries to make it sound like she told us we couldn't use the road, but she can't wait to use it as many times as she can, right? Like that's not what she's saying, right? She's trying to play by the same rules everybody else is, even though she doesn't have to. Now, technically, we cannot close the road, and we haven't closed the road. We don't own the road, right? It's a county road. What we've done is ask people, right? Ask people. There's a sign that says, please proceed on foot. Road is washed out. If someone runs over that sign, I can't stop them. I can't shoot them or arrest them. We're just asking, right? People to try to preserve the road as long as possible. We may need it one day, and then if it's already gone and someone has a fucking heart attack, we're kind of screwed. But he has to throw that in there as well. I ain't no hurry. She told us the road is off limits, in and out, but she's got a new UTV coming to go to Johnson City. She doesn't own the road. She has violated my disabilities and seemed to enjoy seeing my hand post with a slight smile. That's when I took her to class, and she so needed it. An ex-pawn shop owner, now she's getting into her past as if this has anything to do with it, because her and her husband used to own a pawn shop in Nashville. He says an ex-pawn shop owner that's dealt with lower-class people and thieves peddling stolen goods, I'm sure. She is in the service industry and dictates nothing to no one. So anybody in the service industry, you're not allowed to have boundaries. You're not allowed to have rules. You're not allowed to fucking put your foot ever. You dictate nothing to no one. You're just a doormat to be trampled on. And dictates nothing to no one. I feel great. There's no weight or heaviness. Now, he did this, woe is me, I'm pitiful, I put her in her place, but I'm a poor disabled man, to get pity and donations, and he did, right? He got a bunch of comments that just took his word for it on everything, even though he's lying about what happened, correct? So, this is the atmosphere that I walk into. By the way, this is the letter, I'm going to read it. This is a letter that we all got about the campground, and this is like a FEMA thing, okay? You need housing assistant. This is all technically true, but this is the way FEMA wants it topped out to meet their requirements. It says, this letter serves as official notification regarding the condemnation status of the Old Turkey Gorge Campground, property located at blah, blah, blah. Following a thorough inspection conducted by the property manager on September 28th, it has been determined that the aforementioned property is condemned due to the following reasons. The catastrophic damage caused by the flooding of the Nolecheca River has resulted in the road to the campground being washed away in several areas, prohibiting vehicular access to the property. There is no electric, water, or sanitary services available at the campground, and many structures, including the office and supporting electric poles, wires, have been destroyed by floodwaters. Current vehicles and RVs on the property are at risk of further damage from water and mold due to flood damage and destroyed road. Inspections cannot be performed, and most RVs and campers cannot be retrieved. Given these conditions, the campground has been deemed unsafe for habitation. Consequently, all occupants and individuals associated with the property must vacate the premises immediately. Additionally, any further use of the property is prohibited until necessary repairs and improvements are made to comply with local regulations and safety standards, and the roadway, including bridges leading to the campground, is restored. We understand this inconvenience this may cause and are committed to ensuring safety and well-being of all individuals involved. Should you have any questions requiring assistance regarding this matter, please do not hesitate to contact us. And then it has the phone number, and she signed it. Now, again, Lisa is being nice, even letting him stay there because he has nowhere to go. Technically, she can make everybody leave with the use of police if necessary, because there is no electric, water, sanitary services available. It's basically unsafe. There's no road in or road out, right? She can make everybody leave. And she was being nice, letting the people there that had nowhere to go. A lot of people had friends, family, an Airbnb, a hotel room. But the people who didn't have anywhere to go, she was being nice doing that again, right? So he accuses her of all of this and starts all this shit. And as soon as he mentions lawsuit, Lisa says, I'm sorry, I can't discuss it further. I just have to reach out to my lawyer, and I guess you reach out to your lawyer, and then we'll go from there. And she leaves. Now, when I come in the next day, or that same day, that happened in the morning. When I come in that same day, Lisa tells me what went on. She's like, hey, I just want to let you know this happened. We got a meeting with a lawyer because he's claiming I violated his disability and discriminated against him, and we tried to steal his generator. And when I heard we tried to steal his generator, I got mad. Because, again, that implicates me. I'm the one who put it together. I'm the one who put it in the barn. I'm the one who told him where it's at. But he implicated me in a plot to steal his generator, right? Saying he's going to report me to FEMA, report me to this, report me to that.
Just resubscribed for 11 months.
So, this whole time I had been coordinating with his family member that bought the generator, that brought him supplies. I had been bringing in supplies just for him, his own special supplies, and I'd also been bringing in supplies for everybody else. I brought in his generator. I put it together. I did all that, right? So when I walked to my camper to check on the cat and, feed, water, and run the fans or whatever I was doing that day, He comes up to me when I'm fixing to go in the door. Okay, thank you for the resubscription. He comes up to me when I'm fixing to go in the door. And he says, hey, Will, my family member says, and I turned around and said, nope, I don't want to talk to you or your family member. I heard that you're suing the campground and that you're claiming that your rights were violated or whatever. I don't have anything to say to you. And he just says, what? What? And I was like, I just don't have anything to say to you. You can do your own thing now. It has nothing to do with me. I was actually amazingly calm at the first go around. Then I turned to finish unlocking my door, and this is what he says. He says, well, Lisa's been a dumb bitch ever since. And as soon as he said dumb bitch, all I saw was red. I was like, no, fuck you. Get the fuck away from me right the fuck now. And he's like, and I was like, get the fuck away from me now. The only dumb bitch here is you. I put your, before I flipped out, I did say, I put your generator together. I brought it to you. And now you're implicating me in stealing your generator. And he's like, I thank you for that. He even thanked me for putting his generator together, trying to give it to him, showing him where it's at, doing everything. I'm the only person that's still going in there every fucking day, but whatever. That's a different topic. Anyways, I told him to get the fuck away from me. I told him that I was done, that I didn't want to talk to him again. I told him that he was a dumb bitch and that he wasn't going to talk about anybody that way while he's just sitting up there getting drunk and people are bringing him fucking supplies. So then he made another post. Almost immediately after we had this interaction, he decided that he was going to make another post on his Facebook. I'm about to read that post. I had to find a screenshot of it because he deleted it because his family member that was in it did not want to be named. And now she's the enemy, apparently. But let me go grab it. Sorry, I have to find it where he deleted it. Anyways, I did cuss him, but it was after he said that she had been a dumb bitch since whatever, right? It was after all that. I was not happy about it. I was very fucking upset that he would implicate me in a plot to steal his generator. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing coming to me now and saying this shit? You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't even make any fucking sense. And then when he called Lisa a dumb bitch, I let him have it. As I should have. That would have been on the 10th. Sorry, I'm looking through my screenshots now. I know I have it. I just got to find it. After he deleted it. Fucking idiots. This is where all the death threats came from. Damn it, where is it? Sorry, I should have had this pulled up already. I had to go make a police report and everything. It's crazy. I did send a message to his family members. To his family member that I was trying to help and work with, of course. This guy, I don't know. He's just wild. He made a post about me, the maintenance man, and I shared it. I think I even shared it here. Probably will, but no, that's not it. Okay, let's see. I think I shared it over here. Hold on. Let's see. Images. I know I've got them all somewhere, but I just got to find them. That's the one I said, this post is about me. So it should be before that. Oh, Mariah might have just sent it to me. Yeah, she did. So he says, I thought it was longer than that. That's the reason I couldn't find it. It's just small. He says, my daughter, and then he names his daughter, was getting a list of big buddy heaters, which are like propane heaters, which is another thing Lisa didn't want to use because the fire hazard. Generator cords, etc. Now, why was his daughter gathering these things? Because she asked me if I could name some things that might be useful at the campground, and I did. She wasn't just doing this of her own volition. She asked if she could find somebody to donate those, and I gave her a list of things while we were talking when I was bringing shit in from her to him. It says, for the maintenance guy. Well, it wasn't for me. It was for the campground. And I'm not the maintenance guy. I'm a volunteer. I haven't worked there since the morning after the flood. It says, so I cut through his campsite and asked if he wanted to add anything else. He basically said, get out of my yard, you MF. And don't talk to me again. That sound perfect. Harassed by a camp employee. That's supposed to. He didn't say that I told him I didn't want to talk to him because he threatened a lawsuit. I told him I didn't want to talk to him because he implicated me in trying to steal his generator. It didn't say that he called Lisa a dumb bitch, and that's when I finally said something to him and cussed him out. He's got to play the victim, right? He was just cutting through my yard and having a small conversation. So I responded to it, right? I shared it. And I said, this post is about me, and I stand by every word that I said. He approached me to coordinate more effort to help him, which is all I've been trying to do since the flood. I have been let go since the day after the flood, and I'm not an employee. I'm just volunteering my time. Not only did I haul in his generator, I also hauled in 10 gallons of fuel and other miscellaneous items for this man. I assembled the generator, added oil to it so it would be safe to run, and stored it out of the weather with his 10 gallons of gasoline and told him where it was whenever he wanted it. And then this man tried to accuse me of a plot to steal his generator. So when he approached me, again asking me to coordinate with his family member to bring in more supplies, I told him I didn't want to speak with him or his family member after all I've done for him to be for all I've done for him, and to be accused of a plot to steal his generator. He then took it upon himself to call Lisa, the campground manager, a dumb bitch, and I let him have it. By the way, I'm not an employee, and I haven't been since the morning after the flood. And Ken, if you see this, you can still go fuck yourself. That is all. Right? Right? So, as I made this post, I bumped into him again, right beside where his cabin was. I was walking, whatever. And I told him, I said, hey, just want to let you know, I'm not a campground employee. I have not been since September 29th. I'm doing all of this by volunteering, and you can still go fuck yourself. And if you've got something to say to me, I'm right here. You don't have to play victim on Facebook. He went in the cabin and shut his door. Locked it. Okay? He went in the cabin, shut his door, and locked it. Then he made posts about how he was going to shoot me, how his friends should shoot me, how he's holding a 12-gauge shotgun behind the door shaking, how it was so big he was going to have to shoot me and kill me because he's a little old crippled man and blah, blah, blah. He said he put up trip lines behind his cabin and he had to guard the door all night. I didn't even stay there that night. I was 30 miles away at my sister's house. And he claims he had to guard his door all night and put up trip wires, and he's crazy paranoia. Now, he makes this post. It says, and again, his camper was never touched by flood waters. Not even the landing gear, not the tires, not his fire ring, nothing. It never got that high. Okay? Then he makes this post. By the way, keep in mind, his big thing is that everybody's discriminating against his disability. But every time he talks about me, he calls me a crazy, lunatic, very psychotic, mentally unstable when I'm the disabled combat veteran. But whatever. Then he makes this post. I'm out and safe at a friend's house. Thank God for divine protection. After the second round of the maintenance worker and campground employee, not true. He puts in parentheses, you can tell he's very mentally unstable by the second threats. Will throwing me the birds and daring me down to his camper and being an imminent threat of danger for my life. Because I said, he's an imminent threat of danger for his life because I said, if you have something to say, you can just say it to me. You don't have to play victim on Facebook. That's imminent danger to his life. Imminent danger in my life. I decided it's time to go. I started tying tripwires behind my cabin on the trail 8 foot behind it. I put Mr. Scooter, which is his dog, on the porch, loaded a 8-shot pump shotgun, safety off, and loaded my stuff, blocking the porch entrance as I started, and Scooter on guard. It's a Shih Tzu, by the way. His guard dog's a Shih Tzu. I packed anything important to me and only those items. We sat in the cabin with a shotgun in my arthritic hand, holding Mr. Scooter, who's shaking and doesn't know what's going on the bed in the dark till late. A stellar friend, an RN, came late after his 12-hour nursing shift with a friend and loaded my most important items on an ATV and trailer, and we left the Nolichucky Gorge campground forever. We prayed for our safety as well as that of our campground, as that over the campground. I rode shotgun with it in my hand, holding Scooter, while my friend drove my Jeep around the collapsed cliff road and a sanctuary. By the way, he claims he's doing this to protect himself from me. I hadn't been there in 8 hours. It was because I told him he could say stuff to my face. God got us out. I'd looked at my Jeep and knew it was too wide to make it on the collapsing cliff. He has a Jeep Wrangler. It's not too wide. The reason we're limiting traffic is because that spot that's like washed out, every time you go across there, it makes it a little bit smaller for the next guy. But yeah, we brought an F-350 through there to bring in diesel fuel, right? A dually pickup truck. He's got a Jeep Wrangler. Anyways, God made his Jeep smaller. I looked at my Jeep and knew it was too wide to make it to the collapsing cliff road. So as my friend said when we were finally in Chestoa, God can make things smaller. When we got under the railway bridge, which is a missing road section, you drive down onto the bed. Again, my driver's wheel was half off the pavement. This is impossible. Again, I brought an F-350 through there. Was half over the river to make it. I said, man, hug the wall. And he's always got to be this dramatic victim of everybody. I said, man, hug the wall and take the plastic fender off if you have to. I'd say the maintenance man's berserk attitude was the property manager's call. So now he's claiming that Lisa sent me to attack him. I will be contacting FEMA today about the treatment of a disabled individual in that campground and holding my generator in the campground barn! ! Also, her wanting me to move back into a blood-borne pathogen risk area and leaking camper, as well as wanting to house a disabled individual without heat when there was a official campground installed Amish heater that I was told I couldn't use. There's no power. I'd been traumatized, and were in immediate imminent danger of losing my life, so shooting him would have been my only option. He's a big old boy, and I'm a crippled old man. The generator that Miss Lisa McNabb, that's not her name, wanted to keep was unchained and loaded as well. This is how you know he's a psychopath and doing it for sympathy. There was no chain. I don't even know that there's even a chain in the barn anywhere. The only chain I've ever had, I use it on like stumps and logs and shit, is in the back of a truck in a toolbox locked. There is no chain there. There was no chain on his generator. There was no chain in the barn. There's no chain just laying to the side that he could have confused. There was no chain at all whatsoever. He just made this point up. The generator, which he claimed she tried to steal, was unchained and loaded as well. Most clothes and important items were left in the cabin and a small lock placed on that door. The cabin, its contents, and my camper were both reviewed by my two friends to make sure it's like that later. A little giant ladder was chained also to the camper. I'm sure vandals, internal probably, broke in last night. Who knows? So now for sympathy, he's saying, I'm sure they already stole all my stuff, so I probably need your support, guys. It's probably the people that live beside me for a fucking 6 months now stealing from me. But I figured that would happen. I appreciate everything everyone has done. You're each very cherished, and I love you all very much. You know, I was the nice little man who walked through the campground with his dog, smiled, and said hello to everyone. And she thought I'd give her the generator to stay in the cabin. No, she didn't. She told you couldn't stay in the cabin under no circumstances. She told me I could live there without heat through the winter. So if that door is breached or anything is amiss with my camper, Miss McNabb, the pawn shop mentally unstable in her own right manager, will be charged. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and thank God for you all. Then he shares a picture of his shotgun, of a 12-gauge pump shotgun. It says, first thing I loaded yesterday in my escape from Nolichucky Gorge Campground. Then he shares, so basically people were, if you say anything against his narrative, ask about me, ask why his own daughter sided with me over him, he deletes your comments. So another member of the campground went on there and was like, you just stay drunk and high all the time. You don't even know what the fuck's going on. The paranoia is like too much, man. You gotta fucking stop. None of this is true. He deleted that, and then he puts, there's an old saying that's true. What a troubled web we weave, first to practice to deceive. Talk to my lawyer is where it's tit for tat, ain't shat. I made a pretty intelligent post yesterday to be a drug-crazed alcoholic, which I am not, but that's been said by a wife of someone who needs that. It's weird how one can sober up enough to write drunk without too many mistakes and use the wrong form of to, by the way. So, then, after all of this, when all this went down, I texted the family member that was in contact with me. And I texted her back and I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm fucking pissed off. I don't want anything. I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to speak to your dad. I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to help anymore. I did all this for him, put his generator together, took it in, blah, 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 all this stuff. He accused me of trying to steal it. I got more important shit. My camper was the only camper anybody was living in that was actually hit by the flood. Not your dad's, not anybody else's fucking there. I've got too much shit to worry about, like finding a home, finding a fucking job, keeping supplies, keeping gas going. I'm stressed out of the fucking match, so I'm going to go ahead and block your number. You don't have to worry about responding. I just wanted to let you know this is why you're not going to hear from me. I sent that message and then blocked the number. I didn't have time to fight. I had too much shit going on. I don't even have a fucking job or a house right now. And these motherfuckers are putting more stress on me. So I didn't speak to her for a couple of days. Obviously, I blocked her number. But she did reach back out on social media. And she told me, I'm not gonna reveal everything she said. But she basically told me the reason he lives in a camper and not with her is because he has twice. And both times have ended in the same thing that happened to me and Lisa. Him accusing them of being the enemy, of plotting against him, of trying to steal from him, trying to fucking poison him, trying to take from him, setting up a plot with other people, being the bad guys, being the enemy. That's the reason he doesn't live with his own fucking family. His own family. That's the reason he got divorced from his wife. And he does this when he's sober, but it's even worse when he's drunk, which he's staying drunk. This person, because they wanted their name removed from his post, was called the enemy. Was told that, oh, you must be working with them. You don't want your name in this post. You must be working with them. He's tried to live with them twice. And each time he's only made it for a couple months because eventually he accuses them of trying to plot, of trying to steal, of trying to poison, of trying to murder, of trying to... This guy's a fucking lunatic. And he's got all these people convinced. This is how fucking petty he is. He posted a picture. Let me see. I think it's either a picture of a video. Let me see if I can grab it. I think it's a video. He posted a picture of the road. Right, it's a video. Let me mute it first of all. Then I'll bring it over here and show him. He posted this video. Right? This video is where the roads collapse, and there's the wires. And someone asked, how did you get past the wires? Right? How did you get past the wires and stuff with your car? And because I'm the one who got it taken care of, he deleted and blocked them. He deleted their comment and blocked them for asking. They don't know me, but he's so fucking paranoid that he thought that they were going to support me instead of him, and they would have to go back, and he deleted their comments asking, how'd you get past the wires? Because he thought that this man knew me. I can guarantee you one thing. He may get 50 or 60 comments on his post. Hell, when he posts, he even tags our state representative for some reason, I guess to get more attitude. But what he doesn't want to meet is the fucking meat hammer militia in all of his fucking comments on several accounts. I know fucking half of us have burner accounts, bullshit accounts. This guy is fucking wild. Wild to make these accusations. Again, like, I'm not taking away from like the people who showed up at first, the people who helped move people out, the people who brought supplies, but I was the only person still going in and out. I was the only person still bringing in supplies. I'm the only person who would have brought his generator in, put it together, and fucking delivered it to wherever he wanted it. He's living here free. And Lisa could have easily said, it's condemned, I'm putting up a gate, I'm locking it, everybody off the property, or you're trespassing. That would be in the best interest for her, right? Because now if someone slips, trips, falls, electrocutes themselves, has a heart attack and can't get an ambulance out because there's no road, she's liable. The best thing she could have done is said, okay, storm's over, everybody off property or you'll be trespassed. I'm putting a lock and a gate on there. Anybody that comes back will be arrested. That's the best thing that she could have done for herself. But instead, she was letting him stay here for free. And because she asked him to move back to his undamaged by the hurricane camper, he did all of this. Thanks as a plot between me and Lisa and FEMA and his relative, and we're all trying to steal a generator from him that his relative paid for. Paid for. His relative, when they messaged me, said as soon as I saw the text that I sent when I blocked him, when I blocked her and said, I just don't have time for this, said as soon as I read your message, I knew you were telling the truth, and I knew what he had done because he's done it to me before. How fucked up is that? And this guy over here on social media trying to soak up all the fucking, oh, I can't believe how horrible they're treating you. You're a disabled man. I would call a lawyer. You need to get you could take and fucking, you know how everybody becomes a goddamn lawyer on Facebook. People were like, well, if she's the campground owner, she's responsible for fixing your camper. And she's got to pay to build a new road. And if you can't get your camper out of there, you can charge her to rent your camper because it's on her land. You charge her a rental rate every day up to $200 a day. And then other people were like, I just shoot him. I can't believe the maintenance guy would ever say that to you. Just go shoot him. Because that's the way social media is. He tells his side of the story. This is the first time I'm speaking about it on my platform. He tells his side of the fucking story, and then people come running there to say, oh my God, I can't believe you and your dog were trapped by the maintenance man. He was probably in the woods with a scope on your head. That's how social media works. That's how social media works. So people are sending him donations, buying him Amazon wish list, trying to take care of him. And apparently wherever he moved to doesn't fucking want him because he's only been there about 3 days. And yesterday he posted, good morning, everyone. If anyone has a room, house, or trailer for rent with halfway reasonable, please message me. I've looked for 2 days, 12 hours straight, both days, and I haven't found nothing. One off-the-grid opportunity went away, which I was excited about for a while, and I'd lived that for a pretty good time now. Yeah, a few days. In the Nolichucky Gorge Campground and Sanctuary in a normal routine is my short-term goal. Thank you all for special family members and friends who have tirelessly messaged me and tried to help. May God bless you all. Like he plays this fucking crippled, God-fearing, respectful, and here's my dog. Let me post a picture of my fucking dog. I had to leave my wife because she tried to poison me. Stupid motherfucker. Anyways, that's the story of Kenneth. We haven't heard back from him. Obviously, he's basically banned from the camp. He's going to get trespassed, right, from the campground as soon as the fucking police have an interaction with him. Whether that's at the campground or somewhere else, he'll be trespassed. I had to file a report because he threatened to shoot me multiple times. I did do one super petty thing. You guys want to see my pettiness? Let me see if I can grab it. Just one. So he didn't want to leave. So the guy smokes pot, which obviously I don't have an issue with pot, but he smokes pot. And he didn't want to leave that in the cabin, right? Because if something happened and people went in, he had drugs and drug paraphernalia in there, that would probably be bad, right? So instead he took it out behind his camper and set it on the trail or behind the cabin. He set it on the trail right behind the cabin. And when I went up there to disarm his trip lines and booby traps or whatever, because those are illegal as fuck, and take pictures of them, this is what I found. So it's this box. There's a couple glass pieces in there. There's some screens, a little metal pop. There's some bud in there. There's some picks and some grinders and more screens, toothpick to pick it out. There's a grinder there. Just his weed smoking shit. There's another metal pop. No, it's glass. Glass and metal, I guess. But anyways, he left this. So here's my post I made. Someone tell Kenneth Woody he left all his drugs and paraphernalia at the campground when he had to escape in the middle of the night. And I put escape in parentheses or in quotes. And I said, to show there's no hard feelings, I left it at the Lost and Found at the Unicoi County Sheriff's Department, and they said he could come pick it up anytime. Don't call ahead. Just show up, man. Which I thought was fucking hilarious. I thought it was pretty fucking hilarious. Oh. But anyways, I had to file a police report. I had to show them all this. I had to do that. I had to take all the screenshots. We basically, they met with a lawyer today to obviously get ahead of it and protect their whatever they got going on at the campground the best they can. Do their thing. He's a fucking lunatic. I don't think that he's gonna sue because he's lied about so much shit. But if he's legitimately that crazy, his family member told me that he makes these crazy claims, but in his head he really believes them because he's made claims about them before, and she thinks he really believes them. So there you go. Hold on just a second. Anyways, that's the story of this crazy piece of shit. Doing his things, making these claims, implicating me in all this shit, and then run to the internet and pray fucking victim. He did tell people that he's a recovering alcoholic, that he shouldn't be drinking, and that's basically all he did when he's up there. He would drink and smoke pot. That's basically all he fucking did, over and over again, day and night. He was fucking drunk. He was fucked up. Yeah, I don't know how else to put it. That's all he fucking did. And he probably shouldn't be drinking. It doesn't seem like if you're at a point in your life where you think 3 separate people on 3 separate occasions have tried to poison you, and you're not a fucking Russian fucking spy, what the fuck are you even talking about? How easy do you think it is to get poison and then fucking give it to somebody without setting off any alarms or being convicted or leaving a trail or being busted? What the fuck? But then he goes back, to being the victim. He's always gotta be the victim. And people online buy it up or eat it up over and 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 over. They're like, oh, I can't believe you escaped. You're such a good man. You're so strong. I can't believe you've made it through this. You should write a book. Yeah, let's do it. So if you want to tell Kenneth how you feel about the whole situation, you're more than welcome to. That would be on Kenneth Woody on Facebook. You can go check him out. You're going to get blocked almost instantly. But there you go. Kenneth Woody on Facebook. Hold on, I'll show it to him. Kenneth Woody, 4,500 friends. Went to Sullivan North High School. Went to Keltron High School from Kingsport, Tennessee, where he retired at the job of grocery bagger, and left his wife because she was trying to poison him. Guys, I guess that's it for tonight. I got to get down. I got another hour drive to get to Mariah so we can go to her medical appointment in the morning. I'll be off away and stuff tomorrow because Mariah's having dental surgery. Please, if you can support the show, please do. I'm trying to get what we need to get back to the camper, but I still got bills coming in. I don't have a fucking job, so if you want to support the show, do it. If you can, I understand. A lot of people are struggling right now, but if you can, please support the show. We greatly appreciate it. I got a generator coming. There's just a whole bunch of shit that I never even thought about that I need to buy. We can't get a FEMA inspection because the road is fucked up, and we can't get housing assistance until we had an inspection. So I don't know how that's going to fucking work out. So there you go. Spending money like we still have jobs, but me and Mariah both lost our job on the 29th. Trying to get unemployment started. It's still not been approved. But if you want to support the show, support the show. I'll be with Mariah tomorrow. I'll try to keep you updated. She's going in for dental surgery and to fix some of her teeth. And I'll get her set up at her mom's house when she's done. Make sure she feels all right. Then I'll be back to the campground, hauling in supplies and trying to keep everything going. And I guess moving back in there. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Support the show. We're offline at coldbeer.fun. The reason I didn't start a GoFundMe is because it seems like there's thousands of them. I don't know. People are like, you should start a GoFundMe. I don't. I just have my donation links. I haven't started a GoFundMe. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I didn't feel right starting a GoFundMe. If you want to support it, support it. If you don't.
Laird Flash Queen just resubscribed for 23 months. Sup fuckers, waving, peace sign, triangular flag on post.
And I'll be back when I can. It probably won't be tomorrow or the next day, but I'll try to get back. And if you follow my TikTok, you can keep up updates there. I try to take those videos and eventually load them to YouTube, but it's just so much easier to do TikTok. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Wish Mariah luck at surgery tomorrow, and I'll holler at you guys. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night. Don't let the Kenneths of the world get you down.
I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Opened his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me oh my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about
Have a good night, guys. Thank you all for joining us.
you know that stage is set. You better buckle up.